Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing this holiday makeup look that's appropriate for fall time. I've kind of focused this around like cranberry tones, and I really kind of wanted to stray away from like your classic holiday makeup look. And don't get me wrong, I love me like a classic holiday makeup look, and I probably will be filming one with your typical, like gold champagne lids and the bright red lip. But I wanted to do something a little more feminine and something that I thought would be appropriate for maybe like Thanksgiving. I know there's like a lot of holiday parties coming up as well, so I think this would be appropriate for like a holiday party for work. And I just felt like it was, perfect for this time of year and perfect for any, going out holiday type events. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out. That way you guys can catch my next video and we can stay connected. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That always helps. Otherwise, if you guys want to see how I get this cranberry holiday makeup look, then just keep on watching.
Alright guys, today I'm going to speed through my foundation really quickly because I'm going to upload an updated full coverage foundation routine for you guys later this week. And I'm using the NARS All Day Luminous foundation today if you guys are curious.
And for primer today, I'm going to use my Kat Von D High Voltage eyeshadow primer. I really like this primer because it will cancel out any redness that I have on my lids. It's pretty pigmented, so it's nice. Usually I'll go in with like a concealer first just to cancel out any redness and then go in with like my regular primer. But this one's pretty pigmented all on its own, so you really don't have to do that. And I will go in and set that with a little bit of translucent powder. Alright guys, so I'm going in with the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario today, and I'm going to go in with Lula and Isabel, and I'm going to mix these two shades together. I really didn't want a, Isabel, which is very warm, and then Lula is very cool. I kind of wanted something in between, so I'm going to mix the two together for my transition shade. And I'm going in with my Morphe E27 blending brush. This is my all-time favorite blending brush.
And I usually start working at the outer corners of my eyelids first, and I start working in like circular motions, and then I will drag whatever's left over on my brush inward on my crease. And you just want to take your time with this and slowly build up that color. It's a lot easier to build up the intensity rather than to put too much shadow and then have to go in and try and blend it out.
Alright guys, so the next shade I'm going to go in with NYC, this beautiful like rich chocolatey brown shade with like a little bit of kind of, I don't know, burgundy undertones. Has some shimmer to it, so I'm taking this on a Tweezerman pointed concealer brush. And I'm going to start packing this into my outer and inner corner.
And this dense synthetic pencil brush really allows me to pack on that shadow right in the areas where I want it. I'm not really focusing on blending right now. I just want to get the pigment nice and intense, and then I'll go back in with a blending brush to blend everything out. But because this shadow does have some shimmer to it, you can have a lot of fallout with it. So I felt like this pencil brush really allowed me to pack it on in those areas. And then I go in with a tapered blending brush and just soften out the edges. And then I start dragging the leftover shadow to the center of the crease and connecting the inner and outer corners. And then I'm going to go in with this shade called Violeta. It's like a nice reddish brown shade, and I'm using that on a tapered blending brush as well, just to blend out the crease and make sure everything is nice and soft and like airbrushed and seamless, and there's no harsh lines, because sometimes using that like a shimmery dark color can be a little bit harder to blend. So using this matte color allowed me to blend everything out seamlessly, and I like to go back and forth between the tapered blending brush and then my big fluffy blending brush.
Alright guys, so now I'm going to go in with this gorgeous cranberry shimmer shade called Muse, and I'm going to take that to the center of the lid.
And personally, I like to apply most of my shimmery shadows using my finger. I feel like it just works the best. You get the most color payoff. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just packing on that cranberry shade to the center of the lid, and then I'll go back in and blend things out with a tapered blending brush just to soften out those edges and make sure everything is nice and seamless. And then I'm also going to take a little bit of that shadow on a brush and spray it with MAC Fix Plus just to give it a little bit more intensity and make it kind of a little bit foiled because I feel like it wasn't quite as intense as I wanted it. And then I'm tightlining my upper lash line with my Marc Jacobs eyeliner in black. And basically this is just going to make your lash line look thicker. And then I'm going to go in with a quick coat of mascara. I'm using the Tardis Lash Paint Mascara. Basically just popping on a quick coat before I go in with some falsies. This helps your natural lashes to blend in better with your falsies. And today I'm using the Koko lashes in the style Misha. They're just nice and wispy and flirty.
And now I'm going to go back to the face. I'm using my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Custard. And I'm just going to use that to conceal and to highlight throughout the high points of my face.
I'm basically just taking this to my under eye area to help conceal and highlight, and then I'll take it down the bridge of the nose, the center of the forehead, center of the chin, Cupid's bow, and a little bit around my nose where I tend to get a little red, and then blending everything out with my damp beauty blender. I really enjoy this concealer and I'm almost out of it, so I figured I would use it up, that way I can buy me a new one. I really like how brightening this concealer is, and I hadn't used it in such a long time, so I said let me bust it out and then I'm probably going to get me a new one. Now I'm setting that concealer with the RCMA No Color Translucent Powder, and I like to use it with my damp beauty blender. And I'm just setting the under eye area, and then I'm going to go in with my Makeup Forever HD Pressed Translucent Powder, and I like to set the rest of my face using a powder puff. And now I'm going to go back to the eyes. I'm basically just taking the same shades that I used on the upper lid. I'm mixing Lula and Isabel and dusting that on the lower lash line, just using like a tapered blending brush. And then I'm going to go in with the pencil brush, and I believe I'm using a little bit of Muse and just warming it up with some of that Cranberry shade. And then I'm taking NYC on like a little tiny smudger brush and just really packing that towards the lash line just to deepen things up and give the eyes some definition. So I just keep building up that color, and then I'm going into the waterline with MAC Costa Riche eyeliner. It's just like a beautiful reddish brown eyeliner. It's my all-time favorite liner to put in the waterline. And I continue to deepen the lower lash line up using a flat definer brush and just packing on some more of that brown shadow. And then I'm going into this shade called Marina. It's just like a beautiful shimmery, I'm not even sure you describe it, like a champagne shade with a little bit of hint of pink. And I'm taking that to the tear duct, and I first put it on dry, and then I packed my brush back into the shadow and I wet it with Fix Plus and then put that on top. I feel like it really brings out the shadow and makes it more vibrant. And then I'm popping on my Tardis Lash Paint Mascara to the bottom lashes, and then blending my own lashes into my falsies as well. And for brows today, I'm going in with my all-time favorite. This is the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Dark Brown. And I'm going to speed through this quite quickly because I'm going to have an updated brow routine for you guys within the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that if you want to see how I go from that brow to this brow. And for bronzer today, I'm going in with Benefit Hoola, and I'm first taking the little brush that it comes with just to kind of contour out the hollows of my cheekbones, and then I like to go back in with a bigger fluffy brush, and I believe I'm using a Morphe brush. This is from the Elite collection. I always forget the number of this, so I'll list it down below in the description bar, but it works very well for bronzer. So I'm just kind of blending out the cheekbones. I will bronze up the perimeter of my hairline, temples. I like to take a little bit down the chin and jawline as well. And I like to take a little bit of bronzer under the bottom lip just to give it a plumping effect. And then I'm also taking it down the sides of the nose just for a subtle nose contour. And then I like to go back in with a brush and just blend that out with a little bit of translucent powder just so it's not so harsh. And for highlighter today, I'm going in with Anastasia Starlight Illuminator, and I'm using this on a Morphe fan brush. I will also list the number down below in the description bar because I took the handle off of this brush, but basically taking it to the high points of my cheekbones, Cupid's bow, the center of my chin. I like to take it to the tip of the nose and down the bridge of the nose. I like to do kind of like the exclamation point on my nose, you know, a line down the center and then a dot at the tip, and I feel like this makes your nose look a lot smaller, especially if you have a bulbous nose. And for blush today, I'm going in with the Becca Blushed with Light palette, and I'm taking the shade called Wisteria, and it's just like a beautiful dusty rose shade. So I'm taking that to my cheekbones using an Elite brush from Morphe. I will list the number down below in the description bar as well. But it's just such a beautiful shade, and it went so well with the cranberry tones. And then I'm going back in with a duo fiber brush from Sigma and just blending out my blush and highlight. I feel like it gives it a nice like airbrushed finish. I like to use a little bit of translucent powder as well. And then I'm going into the Anastasia Moonchild Glow Kit and I'm taking Pink Heart and I'm just using that same fan brush and going on top of that last highlight shade. And this just gives it a nice subtle hint of pink. And on camera you really can't tell, but it looked so gorgeous in person and it blended so well with the nice rich cranberry tones on the eyes. I just felt like it just gave it a nice festive pop of color. And then for my brow bone, I'm taking Soft Peach from Anastasia. I believe this is from the World Traveler palette, but she also has it as a single shadow. And then I blend out those edges. There's not a great highlight shade in the Master Palette by Mario that wasn't like super shimmery, so I used that shadow, and then I went in with a little bit of Pink Heart from the Moonchild Glow Kit and just placed it to the highest points of my brow bone. And then for lips today, I'm going in with Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Dusty Rose. And I thought this shade looked beautiful with the eyes, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. I wanted more of like a terracotta color, so I went in with Anastasia's Ashton liquid lipstick and I placed it on top, and oh my gosh, this created like the most beautiful lip color combo. Like, this is going to be my new obsession. And so I just dabbed it in to make sure it all blended. And then I'm going to go ahead and set my face using my Motives 10 Years Younger setting spray. Just douse the face, and basically this is the completed look. This is lip option number 1. I thought it looked so stunning. The lip combo just looked so perfect with the eyes and with the shirt I was wearing, and I thought it just looked so stunning. But I also decided to give you guys a bold lip option just because I think it's the perfect time of year for that. So I'm going in with the ColourPop Lippy Stick. This is in the shade Pitch, and it's the most gorgeous, like rich brown with a little bit of reddish undertones. And I went ahead and put my hair up as well just because I feel like it completed the look. It looked a lot more bold and edgy, and this is lip option number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching as always. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!